Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It is Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday. So I'm here with Kimberly, part of my throuple, to talk about season 6, episode 2 of 90 Day the Other Way, called What Women Don't Want. So we're keeping up with the movie
Is that
titles.
what it was called?
Yeah, What Women Don't Want. Kimberly, it's funny because I'm looking at you and you have flowers behind you. And would you like to tell the people about your flowers?
It's my birthday week. I'm not going to say the exact date, but Mary
Okay.
Payne sent me these beautiful flowers.
I love to send flowers. I don't necessarily like to get flowers because I think it's like kind of a waste to have flowers in your house, but I do like to send them so other people can have a waste of flowers. And then I
Yeah.
saw that on the little site that I went to. That's a florist that Matt and Jake told me about. And when he had his surgery, I sent him flowers. No, I think Jake told me actually told me about this florist. So then I was like, I know a florist in LA. Even though you don't live in LA anymore, and
I
so
know.
there,
Now I'm
there,
gone. Yeah.
there you go.
I love it. They're beautiful.
Yeah, they're fun, and those kind of flowers,
They made
just
me
some
feel
flowers,
very special.
they'll last for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I hope
good.
so. Because then when they get all stinky and then you have to throw them out.
And then it's sad.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then it's sad.
But you will have to take them out of the box eventually. You know that too, right?
No, I wasn't aware of that. Thought I could leave them just like this.
Because there's a vase in there that's pretty underneath the
Oh,
box.
okay.
Okay.
I'll do some work then. Here's a gift, and you have to do some things.
You just have to take it out. You have to unbox it, as it
Okay,
were.
I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else exciting happening that you did for your birthday week?
No, I
Oh,
got a little sunburn, but
I
no.
s-
But I recorded with Mary Payne, not for this show, but for my show. And that was
that
very exciting.
that was a thrill. That was a thrill. And I still have all my notes here about going to watch the Dateline that's about the ID show that we're covering so that I can really, really get in on this case because it was wild. It was
It was
wild.
wild, and I got to introduce you to a case that I'm obsessed with and a ID show that has the weirdest stylized choices ever.
This ID series is called Betrayed, and I was actually
Mhm.
telling my friends about it the other night at dinner. I was telling them about the reenactments and this
The
literally
voiceover
like
from the grave.
the voiceover from the grave, and also clearly the actors had to wear their own clothes because there's no budget for
Mhm,
wardrobe.
mhm.
Very, 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 very low budge, and we had a great time talking about it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, so I can't wait for that to come out. That'll come
Katie
out.
needs to leave the country more. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
no,
I
no,
miss
no, no,
her. I
no,
can't
no.
wait for her to come back.
I hope she's having a is she gone for a full week?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good for her. She's gone very, very far away. We're not allowed to say where.
Yeah, it's a country with an M that I thought was in Europe. Turns out not in Europe. And I've been telling everyone Europe. But
But I think further away than what we
yeah,
thought.
even further, more fancy.
Yeah, I hope that she, at the very minimum, went business class because that's a long way to go sitting in the back by the bathroom.
Yeah, I gotta find out. I bet they cheaped out and they
You think so?
well, I don't know. Oliver works for FedEx on the
Mhm.
airline, so maybe they got better seats. I don't know how that would work. It's not a FedEx plane, so maybe that doesn't work
Say she's sitting in the cargo
unless they're in the
section.
cargo section of a FedEx plane.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny that you say that because I remember, around December when we were doing our throuple Christmas, movie live thing that we did,
Uh-huh. Our moment.
our moment, she was like, "I'm gonna send you your present," which by the way, right there, my sassy Sasquatch right there. She's like, "I'm gonna send it to you." I was like, "Oh yeah, I sent it over to you guys. Like it cost me so much because I sent it too late." She was like, "You should have told me. I have like pull with FedEx." And I was like, "Okay, whatever. I have an account too, big shot." I didn't realize that she meant like really she had some pull and like she could have gotten me a better deal. And I didn't know. I didn't
Yeah, they
know.
get a discount when they ship with FedEx.
That's amazing. So when we do it again this Christmas, and we'll come up with a Christmas movie that all of us can watch, not just some of us.
Yeah.
That was a fail. Um, you guys, 90 Day the Other Way, season 6, episode 2, What Women Don't Want. This is also on video. It's on YouTube. The link will be in the show notes. That is here on the free feed. You can go to YouTube and watch it and like it and then subscribe to the channel and do all the things that you do on YouTube. YouTube is kind of a new thing for us. We just put things out there and it's kind of been growing without us ever really mentioning it. So that's exciting.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. You can see Kimberly with some flowers right by her head, and you can see me with some flowers right behind me on my wallpaper.
And
With
nothing else behind me.
nothing else behind you,
It's
but you
like
will.
so bland compared to yours.
I know, but you will be putting
Yes.
up something.
Yes.
Yeah, she just moved, guys. Give her a
It
break.
just moved. It's been a week. It'll take me several months.
I will tell you that this episode is heavy on the Kimberly, because they only had 3 couples and you're covering 2 of them.
Yeah.
But
Fine.
as we go, so we're gonna have we've got Sarper and Shekinah, James and Tata, and then we've got Statler and Dempsey. We've got Josh and Lily, which we'll see next week, and then we've got Corona and Inky, which we'll see next week.
Oh, yeah, my favorite.
So those are the couples so far. So we saw 3 this week, and we've got 3 next week. So I don't know if that's all we're gonna get or if there's gonna be other new ones coming in, because Statler and Dempsey and Shekinah and Sarper are returning couples.
I feel like in the promos, these are the only couples we've seen. I don't
Okay.
think we're missing anybody.
Well, that's good because it's only an hour-long show and we can get really invested. Yeah.
Or get hatred for these couples.
Get
faster.
full anger. Full
Yeah.
anger. All right, speaking of anger, let's talk about Sarper and Shekinah first.
Sure. Of course, Shekinah's hero shot is taking a selfie of herself on the streets of LA.
I kind of love that.
They're really diving into like more
more movement,
active, more movement, more personality in the hero shots.
Are you watching 90 Day UK at all?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
someone
James,
like jumps or something.
Well, John and Sprite, every time they have a hero shot, they like do like a slow-mo turn to the side, and then they show one of them going like with their full chin on their fist, like they're mad. The UK ones are, I mean, they're fully dancing.
Yeah,
they're great.
They lean into the cheesy factor. I love it.
So I'm glad she kind of leaned into Selfie, because that's what her middle name is Selfie.
Yes, Shekinah Selfie. Yeah. It's Amish. So she is off to Turkey. Her friend Kelly is driving her to the airport, and they discuss what Shekinah believes to be the biggest issues in her relationship with Sarper.
Why did I think her friend's name was Julia?
Maybe it was Julia. Why did I write down Kelly?
I think
it was Julia.
I thought it was Julia because I went to look. I was like, is this one of her sisters? And then it said Julia, her friend.
Okay, so it's Julia. Where I don't know where I got Kelly from.
Maybe she just looked like a Kelly.
Yeah, she just looked like Kelly. So she believes the biggest issues are A, he kept that gross semen stained journal with the check marks for all of his conquests, and B, that he has kept his semen filled bottle collection.
Gross.
So these are like, it's a glass display case of empty liquor bottles that remind him of the women that he slept with, or it is the alcohol he plied these women with so they would be drunk enough to sleep on his semen-stained mattress.
Whatever it is, it's what they call with serial killers when they
keep
trophies. Yeah, it's trophies from his conquest. And remember, in that book, not only does he have check marks and things, he also has them color-coded by looks.
Yeah, you get a different color if you were super hot.
Nobody in that book is super hot. Nobody.
So, and we see the flashback to the tell-all where Kalani is horrified by the bottles. I was like, that bitch has had a physical fight with Asuelu's mom. She's seen some things. And she's horrified by the bottles.
She just had a baby with her lover.
I know. I heard they broke up, though.
Oh, God. Kalani. Oh, no. Gosh, okay.
So Shekinah has told him, I'm not coming back to Turkey if you don't get rid of those bottles. But I am going to come back to Turkey even though you did not get rid of those bottles.
because the camera crew is here.
Because the camera crew's here. And also he says he wants to talk about it in person. And so I caved. And you see her dog and Kelly/Julia's dog in the back seat just rolling their eyes. Like, cute. How is she so dumb?
I loved every time you saw Julia, her little dog's like right behind her. It was so cute.
Why is my mom friends with this lady?
Why is this big dog named Adonis in the back seat with me? What a dumb name your mom gave you.
get some self-esteem, lady. So she is going to pull out her past and hope that it will piss him off, give him a taste of his medicine, which is a 143-page letter that her teenage boyfriend wrote her when she was 16.
Yeah.
That is too long for a letter. That is obsessive and psychotic and scary. But also, I don't think a love letter from a teen boy is going to have the same effect as the literally 3,000 women, adult women, God, I hope they were adult women, that Sarper has slept with.
Yeah, it doesn't hit quite the same.
It doesn't hit as hard. He's still going to be jealous, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because he's psycho too.
Did it remind you of when Ross and Rachel broke up?
100%.
And the letter, and it was 6 pages. And then he says,
Y-O-U-R. It's different than Y-O-U''RE.
It matters.
Yeah.
And then that's when he goes, I mean, I was reading it, but I fell asleep. And she's like, you fell asleep? He goes, it was 6 pages front and back.
Well, try 143.
God. On like double space wide ruled. I'm gonna need eyes on it. I'm gonna need to flip that binder open. And also, was it presented in a binder or did she bind it herself?
Right. She does have a binder. It's so funny that it's a binder too, because they were actual teens at a school. They were at super Christian boarding school. And so it's in a binder. Also, is this the same boarding school that she has shipped off her daughter to?
No, I think her daughter goes to a real fancy, like Connecticut boarding school.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm sorry I keep saying so negative, to make it sound so negative that she shipped off her daughter to this boarding school. But it just does seem like both parents shipped this daughter off so they could go to other countries. Like, you're staying here and we're going to Europe.
But she does come home. But she does come home when her daughter's on break.
She does. That's true.
That's all we can ask for.
Yes, that's true. So her friend drops her off at the airport, says, be strong, get what you deserve. She won't. Also, I haven't forgotten how mean Shekinah was to the other people at the tell-all. She was so know-it-all, like her relationship was superior and all these other women were losers. She was such a mean girl.
You're so right. I forgot about that too. That she literally came in and was like, everybody can just bring it on. They can suck it. I mean, she was like so aggro even before it even started.
And then when they came at her, she would just walk off and be like, And then she accused Andre of being like very aggressive and threatening towards her because he came up to her and she was sitting down and he is a large man that was standing there and asked, like, why do we have a problem here? Like, why are you being like
that's
this?
Right. And then she was like,
she's like, babe, don't threaten me. How dare you? Babe, he's talking to me. It's threatening me, babe. And Sarper did nothing to defend his woman.
I remember he just leaned in real close to the camera. I was like,
Yeah.
Wow. Is he not allowed to leave Turkey? Is that what we're ascertaining? Because
yeah, I don't know what's going on. Why I don't want him in America. I mean,
no, but it might be nice if he just visited and saw where she lived and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, just this whole couple is such red flags. It's so toxic. So Sarper is in Turkey. We see he's in his gross apartment that he has not cleaned. He's failing everyone with OCD. Like, he says he has OCD. That pot and that fried egg pan was not.
His gross bed that he's probably
bad at OCD.
God knows what he's doing in that bed when she's not there.
Exactly. So he's excited that she's coming because he's living like a priest without her. And he goes, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Because he hasn't had sex in 3 months.
Wow.
He needs that. Do you want a medal? So he has never lived with a dog before because she's bringing Adonis. He's a cat guy. And he says, most bad boys are cat guys because you can leave them for days at home alone while you're off banging chicks. So You really shouldn't, though. I don't think that's nice to the cats.
No.
But that explains why. So now he thinks it shows growth that he is going to be living with a dog. That just shows
Okay.
how much he's changed because he's going to care for her dog.
This is the second time we've heard the word Adonis this week, because last week on 90 Day UK, what's her name said that what's his name's penis was called Big Adonis.
Oh my God.
The guy that looks like it's the Blue Wiggle. I think his name is James. And then the girl that lives in the Philippines.
Yes.
And
Okay.
and remember, he came in and he was like, he put K plus J. So her name starts with a K. It'll come to me. K plus J on the bed, and it was like, I did this for you in rose petals. And they were like, and she was like, oh my gosh, great. You're so romantic. And then he goes, and look, I got you a big stuffed bear. And she goes, great. What should I call it? And they die out laughing, saying Big Adonis. And then they say later it's because that's what she calls his penis. Great. So now we've got two Adonises. We got a dog. And
That
we've
poor dog.
got
Yeah.
that guy's
That's all I'm going to
wiener.
think about when I see that cute dog.
Oh, cute dog, though.
So he says, I've missed Shekinah so much, and not just sexually, but emotionally too. Then why did you have to mention sexually?
I think that's growth for him, actually. I think it's actually growth for him to realize he didn't just miss the sex part, that he actually missed her as a person, as a human.
You're giving him so much credit.
I know. I'm sorry.
So they greet each other at the airport. He's crying, but she isn't, which I loved. And he's very embarrassed that he's now been seen on TV crying, because
he's
that's
bawling.
not manly.
He's bawling. He's really
He's like, I don't look away, babe. Look away.
Forget this. Forget you ever saw it. He's like Men in Black.
Men in Black. Yeah. So she's like, do you want to meet your son, Adonis? Oh no. This is like Nicole having little May call as in daddy. Don't get the children involved.
I wonder how old May is now. Like 6?
Or is she like a teenager? But it's been a long time. If she still have that iPad and the headphones on all the time.
And the leash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he picks up Adonis and holds him like a big baby. I actually thought this was very cute. Because
anything with the dog, we're going to be in.
Yeah. I was all in. And he says, Adonis, I don't normally cry. Look away, Adonis. Don't think I'm not manly, Adonis. So he can't wait to hold Shekinah and hug her and F her. He always has to throw, in case you've forgotten, he's very sexual. It almost makes me think he's not at all. Like he is impotent. And this is all a big fraud because he rubs it in our faces all the time.
Ooh, I didn't like that analogy. But when he said, I'm going to love her and hold her and bang her and all that, it didn't remind you of, this is my.
I'm going to love her and kiss her and squeeze her.
And fuck her. Yeah, that's what he said. I was like,
ooh. Yeah. So right when they walk in the apartment, she sees the glass case of bottles. And she had kind of hoped that he would surprise her by getting rid of it. He is not going to do that. When has he ever done a nice surprise for you?
Also, he doesn't clean up. So he doesn't even, like, to him, that's a cleaning thing that he has to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So he is like, I know you don't like it. And she's like, it's more that I don't not like it. I hate it. I hate it.
And they are empty liquor and wine bottles. Throw them out. Put them in the recycling.
They're not like pretty bottles. They're not anything. Like, I don't even know if he rinsed them. So they're probably sticky and gross. Like, throw them out. You were a hoarder at this point. And that's just gross. Like,
yes.
Maybe put them in a storage unit. Like if you really need to have them and one day you're going to look through them when you're an old man and go, oh, this bottle of Tito's was when I, had that threesome. And
right. And how does he know? Is he writing on the bottom of the bottles like the names of the
initials
girls
or something?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's why is it alcohol bottles? Like why? Take a lock of their hair or something, like a true serial killer. Like, why was alcohol so involved? Like, that makes me think you have a problem, that you have saved all of these alcohol bottles.
There's a
Also,
lot of
there are not
problems here.
3,000 alcohol bottles. So each bottle goes from several different women, and alcohol wasn't always involved. So it's not like a complete set. It's not like you have every Pez dispenser that was ever produced. It's not a complete set. You
No,
have every Beanie Baby.
no, it's
The,
hoarding. It's
you're
hoarding
hoarding.
and it's keeping trophies from your conquest. And it's weird. And I don't like either one of these people, but she is right.
100% she's right.
Yeah.
But is she going to really put her foot down? Probably not.
Just wait for him to go to work and then
Smash.
and
Earthquake. Sorry.
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say put them in a box and tape them up and say, you can put this box wherever you want, but it shall not be opened in my presence.
Mm-hmm.
What does he need to look at those bottles for? Like, oh, I remember that one time I had that girl over here. Her name was Christine, and we did it 4 times.
And we
Oh,
were wasted. Like, there's no way did you have sex with her 4 times and you drank that whole bottle of alcohol?
right.
I don't understand.
True.
This whole thing. Like, turn it in for recycling and use the money to buy Shekinah flowers.
Just save the earth. Recycle your bottles.
Yeah.
Okay. We're done with them, correct?
Please. Yes.
Okay. James and Tata. Okay. So let's recall he's from New Gloucester, Maine. She's from s6e2, Indonesia. He's 33. She's 27. So she's packing up and leaving. Remember also she's got an anger problem that we saw quite a bit of, or just immaturity or something, or just pouting.
She just cries just constantly.
Cries, something.
We've seen her in 3 scenes and she cried in every single one.
Oh, Jojo.
And then she cried with her friend. He doesn't want babies. He doesn't want children. Why didn't you tell me?
Jojo? Where's Jojo? So she's packing up and leaving. And she said, she's very sad to leave James and Jojo, and especially Jojo, since she just found out Jojo's the dog, you guys. Jojo can't come to Indonesia for a while. And she's also very sad that she's not going to get to say goodbye to his family, because they haven't even told the family that she's leaving, much less he's also leaving.
This is so dumb. Why did you not? This is the worst plan ever.
So just all of a sudden she's gone. And she'll be back. She'll be back. Oh, she just didn't have time to say goodbye to you guys. Yeah. She's flying from Maine to Indonesia. Seems like that takes a little bit of planning. So she definitely had time to say goodbye. Mm-hmm. It's wild. Can't wait till we get to meet these parents. So in the car, he's saying to her, like, I hope everything's going to work out the way we want, especially with Jojo getting to come and everything. And, I'm definitely going to come in like a month or a month and a half. I don't know exactly, but I'm going to work here and make as much money as I can so that we will have that to live on. And he goes, because when I get to Indonesia, we'll need to have a little money, because I don't know how long it'll take to make money working with your family. And she goes, yeah, that's the thing. When you get there and work with my family, they won't pay you. And he goes, what? He goes, what am I going to do for a job? You said I can work for them, and now you're saying they're not going to pay me? And she goes, no, they don't ever pay family. And he goes, wait, so then why is that our plan, that if I can't go there, if I can't go there and have any kind of life, why are we moving there? And he goes, I'm not going to go somewhere if I can't make money to take care of you. This is very unsettling.
How are you going to pay for all these doctors? Because she needs all these doctors. Why did you set him up with this job, working for your dad, if he's not going to get paid?
If he's not going to get paid. And she goes, they don't pay family. Well, how does anybody in the family make money? They work for free? Like, I don't understand. So she goes, rolls her eyes like he's so dumb. And she goes, we just go to Dad's house and get the chips, and then we go to another city and sell them. And he goes, okay, wait. So we buy from your dad and then we sell them ourselves. Like, are we selling them on commission? And she goes, yeah, exactly.
She knows what commission is.
She doesn't know what that means. And he goes, wait, I'm confused. She goes, look, English is my 3rd language.
That's fair.
Okay, I get it. But she's so defensive.
Yeah.
And then he goes, so, all right, with this new plan that I just found out on the way to the airport, how long will it be before we start to make any money? And she goes, I mean, I don't know. There's so many people selling banana chips in Indonesia. You have to fight before you can even get into a store.
So now his job is salesman. but like aggressive salesman
in another city.
In another city where he doesn't speak the language and the market is so saturated that the competition is unbelievable. So it will not succeed. There's no
why
way.
is anybody going to buy from this guy who doesn't even speak the language instead of buying from a local guy?
Exactly.
They wouldn't. They would buy from a local person.
That would make, unless they're like, oh, an American, which I highly doubt. I think they'll be like, ew, an American.
Ew.
Yeah. Let me buy from what's his name that I've known our entire
a local
families
farmer.
Go back generations together. Let's buy from that guy. So and she's so defensive.
She's completely yelling
and
at him.
And now his job is completely different than what he thought it was.
He's stunned. So he says, okay, yes or no? Are we going to make money on this? Like, you're making it sound like it won't be profitable. And I really hate we're having this conversation on the way to the airport. And she goes, yeah, we can make money. We just have to do it really good. And then she goes, and don't you think I hated that conversation last minute about Jojo?
She's going to bring up that forever.
Kind of different. And so she says, I grew up, she says in her talking head, she goes, I grew up helping my dad with the chips. And I didn't realize I had to share so many details with him about it. Like, it's not like I was keeping a secret like Jojo.
And it's not
the same.
It's not the same. It's not telling every detail. It's literally the most basic parts of what you're going to be doing to support yourself.
And by the way, if you're in the family, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
And then also maybe you could get paid if you do it on commission, but also nobody wants to buy from us.
Yeah.
So actually, this is pretty important. Like, he needs to really completely shift into a different area of how he could possibly make money.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, I'm just feeling a lot more concerned about the situation now. And she goes, okay, what? So now you're just not going to move? And he goes, okay, that's not what I said. I am going to move, but I don't feel great about us not being able to be a success and that I'm not going to be able to provide for you. And she goes, whatever, I got to go. So she jumps out of the car. As she starts to jump out of the car, and he goes, okay, so remember what I've always told you, that no matter how mad you get, you should speak in love, because at the end of the day, she cuts him off and goes, love, love, love. Is that what you want?
Is he Mormon? Is he Mormon? I feel like he's one of the secret Mormons on this show. There's always secret Mormon.
I don't know if he's a secret Mormon, but you need to hit the Reddit and find out if he's a Mormon.
Yeah.
Okay.
The speak in love made me think he's something.
Even if you're angry, you should speak in love. And then she goes, love, love, love. Is that what you want?
That's how I would respond.
Me too. Like, if you're mad, that's really not the move. It's like, calm down. That also won't work.
No.
So he says, do you want to leave angry? We're not even going to see each other. We don't even know how long. And then she says, no. And then the talking head, she goes, I've just got so many things going on. Like, maybe he doesn't want to have a kid with me. He didn't even tell me about Jojo. And he hasn't told his family that we're leaving. So now I wonder, is he actually going to come? Which is valid.
Yeah.
It is weird that he won't tell his family that she's leaving and never coming back. This girl that has lived there with them for 3 years, by the way, you're never going to see her again, my wife.
Yeah.
That is weird.
That's so weird.
And it gets weirder. So now they cry at the airport, and he's beside himself, like bawling, cry. I was looking for she was really having tears. He wasn't having a lot of tears. He was doing a lot of cry face.
I agree. He's doing, when he's talking to the producers, he's like, I'm going to miss her so much. I cannot, my love, my life. No tears are coming
but out. A lot of squinching of the face.
But his face was dry.
Yeah.
So is he a faker?
Maybe he's gone to the Jasmine School of Crying.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So he's really bawling. He says he feels devastated because he doesn't know exactly when he'll see her again. They haven't set a date. And without her, he doesn't know who he is. And they are meant to be together. All right. You should know who you are without your spouse.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
It's not great. So,
and he says, I'll miss the smell of you.
Oh, he's sniffing all over her. So now we fast forward. It's been a month since she left, and he's moving in a week. Okay. So he is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's been working nonstop to make as much money as possible. He is an elevator repairman. So how many elevators have to break for him to make? So is he cutting the lines and then going to break them. Like, I don't understand how, if he's not just doing his regular, like once a month, you got to check on these elevators, but he's doing unclear.
But it's like a family business.
Yeah. But so he's been working a lot of overtime. I don't know. He's been taking jobs nobody else wants. He says they talk on the phone every single day and he doesn't have any more tears to cry. He cries every day. I was like, is that like what happened at the airport?
This couple, she probably had real tears.
They're very, very immature and seem pretty toxic.
I mean, it's not immature to show emotions, but they cry at everything.
They don't need to cry every day. Like, some days just don't need to be a crying conversation.
Do they have any liquid left in their bodies? My dad is like, they have salt stains all over their house.
But also, what's happening with the doctors? Has she seen? That's the reason she went.
Right.
It's been a month. She should have seen at least 3 doctors.
Absolutely.
So he goes, yeah, I've been really dragging my feet on telling my family, and now it's the last minute. Now he tells us quite a bombshell. This is the second time he's done this. He was married once previously. They lived in Maine for 6 months, and that girl just couldn't take living there in the cold. And she forced him to move to Florida, and he didn't want to go. But when they left, his family had to downsize the entire company because of him leaving. And then he was married to that biatch for less than a year.
I can't. What is wrong with him?
Something is wrong with him because he's doing the same thing again. And now has waited until the week before to ruin the family for the second time.
Also, is Maine that horrible? It looks so pretty.
I mean, it seems pretty perfect.
Yeah.
Also, if it's cold, just stay inside.
Fletcher lived there and solved a lot of murders. So why is everyone hate Maine? Why can they not wait to get away from James?
Can't you go whale watching in Maine?
Yeah. I think there are lots of things in Maine.
I think if it's cold, you can stay inside. It's all right.
But he likes to forage.
Well, let him forage by his damn self.
And climb trees and stuff.
Okay, go by yourself. So now his brother Jimmy comes over. Now this is confusing because his name is James.
Oh, yeah.
And his brother's name is Jimmy, which is just another name for James.
Yeah, is the father James, and then there's James the second and James the third, but it's not generational. There 2 of them are in the same generation.
I don't know, but when I was writing it down, I was confusing myself. Oh, see, if you're gonna do it, I'm gonna do it too. She did balloons. Now I'm gonna do confetti. Come on, confetti. Don't let me down. Okay, let's see. Woo, confetti.
I don't think saying it helps.
Damn it. There it goes. All right. Thank you. All right. I wasn't going to let you best me with the balloons. Okay. So his brother Jimmy, which is confusing because his name is James. Okay. It's confusing. And then when I started writing it down, I was really confusing myself. And what is super interesting, you know how just the universe shows you things. So I was taking notes on this, sitting downstairs before I came up to record with you. And I didn't have a lot of notes to write, only for this one couple. So I was feeling pretty happy about myself. Yeah. And I got the call from this lawyer who is helping me with my car accident from a while back. And he says, oh, someone's calling you.
Sorry.
Wow, what an episode this is. And okay, so the lawyer says to me, hey, my email is James, blah, 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 blah. And then my other guy in my firm is also Jimmy at da, 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 da. And he goes, it's confusing because James and Jimmy, same thing, but we're 2 different guys. And I thought, see, I'm not wrong. James and Jimmy is the same thing. My brother-in-law's name is James, and he goes by Jimmy.
Hey, that's very
it is
bizarre.
The same thing.
That's bizarre.
When you search on the Reddit,
find out
what's happening here. Okay, because they would have said, I think if they really weren't blood related, they would have said stepbrother, because that would have, the James and the Jimmy would have made more sense. So anyway, Jimmy and his wife Drew come over, and he says before they come over, he goes, I know it's super last minute. I know I should have done it beforehand. I had plenty of time. I just didn't do it.
And you should have learned from your mistake last time with the first wife.
Big life stuff. This is not just like you're telling someone you lost their shoes or something.
No, you're screwing over your entire family for the second time.
again for a girl. So Jimmy and Drew come over and they're like, oh my gosh, here's Jojo. We love Jojo. Now, here's a question. At the end of this conversation, is he going to say, and by the way, now you have Jojo? Because where's Jojo going?
Right. Great point.
I hope they love Jojo because Jojo's coming to live with you.
They seem to really love Jojo until the conversation gets too serious. And then the brother pushes Jojo off his lap onto the floor.
He's like, are you trying to tell us we have to adopt Jojo?
Yeah.
So Jojo's all over them and he goes, oh, Jojo's been so depressed. And Tata has been gone. So Jimmy, I wrote James because I was very confused. Jimmy, the brother, says, so when is Tata coming back? And he goes, yeah, she's not planning on coming back. And they just look at him like, what? And he goes, because I'm going to join her in Indonesia.
The progression of their faces was like,
You guys, you can tell Kimberly went to theater school. Yeah.
That was my education worth it. Tuition money.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. And so they said, he goes, so when are you coming back? And he goes, we are not coming back. She had a hard time acclimating here, so we're planning to live there.
And she has a weird bump coming out of her neck.
Oh, this has never been mentioned again, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to believe it is psychosomatic. So I'm sorry if she, I kind of don't believe her. And that's terrible because she may have a real medical condition, but I bet not.
I believe her.
You do?
Don't
okay, good.
Send your hate letters to Mary Payne.
So he says, yeah, I'm leaving in a week. And yeah, mom and dad don't know yet, but I'm going to tell them tomorrow. So Jimmy goes, so you're quitting. And he goes, yeah. And Drew goes, well, that puts a lot of pressure on you, husband. And Jimmy looks right at him and goes, well, that sucks. The last time you did this to us, when you went down to Florida, you really left us high and dry. And James goes, yeah, that was a totally, totally different situation and a totally different reason. And Jimmy goes, so when you went to Florida, that was for another person? And James goes, right. And he goes, and you're going this time because of, and James goes, because of Tata. He goes, yeah, so those reasons are totally different. I love Jimmy. Jimmy's savage. And Jimmy and Drew, sometimes I think this is fake and they knew before they came in, but they seem to have not known.
They did not know. I wish he had been like, we have James and Jim and Jimmy. No, James Sr., James Jr., and Jimmy's elevator company. We had to change the sign last time when you moved to Florida. We had to take off the middle James and on all the business cards. And then when you came back from Florida and got divorced, we had to put your name back up. And now we got to take it back off the sign to change the business cards again.
I think it's triple J, then double J. Now it's going to be triple J, and it's going to go back to double J.
Elevators.
Yes.
And co.
And James goes, yeah, but that time when I went to Florida, like I had no choice. But this time I'm doing it out of love to show her that I'm willing to do it for her. So Jimmy goes, all right. So you don't know the culture. You don't know the language. And James just admits, yeah, the language is a big problem, and I did make her dad 3 promises when we got engaged. And the first one was that I would learn the language. And Jimmy goes, literally like Dr. Phil, how's that working out for you? And he says, well, I can ask where something is. And that's it. I haven't done great. And Jimmy goes, what were the other 2? And he goes, well, one was to make sure I could always take care of her. And the other one was to make sure we had grandchildren. So Jimmy says, and how's that working out for you? And James says, I don't know. Maybe I'm shooting blanks, or maybe we're using protection.
Yes, Gino laugh.
So weird. And he goes, well, which one is it? And he goes, it's definitely the protection. And Drew goes,
what's wrong with James?
There's something really wrong with James. Something really wrong.
Promises a man 3 things when he marries the daughter and then actively does not do 2 of them.
I don't, and is coming to Indonesia to actively not do the third.
Yeah.
And when he says it's definitely the protection, Drew goes, well, that'll do it. And James goes, the truth is, like, I don't really know if I want to have kids because of the state of the world. To which I say, sir, it's never going to be a good time.
No.
Because listen, when we had Anna, it we had just invaded Iraq because of the weapons of mass destruction that weren't really there. Yeah, that's the day I was giving birth, that's what was happening. And you don't think I was like, oh my God, why did I just have a baby?
Why did I just have a baby?
Yes, yes.
But I don't think you knew how much worse it could get. I do feel like the earth is dying, but
well, right.
And everyone
that'll be her problem, not mine.
Each other. But so I get it. But then he's like, 5 years ago when I made that promise, the world was way better. And I was like, what year was that? Okay. So it's really just COVID that changed.
He's only talking about COVID.
Yeah, he's only talking about COVID.
He's talking about COVID. He said the world was a different place 5 years ago. And he says, right now I'm just trying to show her by moving there. I'll do anything for her out of love. And Drew goes, yeah, but isn't having children one of those things? And he goes, yeah, but, and Drew says, well, it's really important for you to go ahead and tell her you never want to have kids because your relationship's really going to be hurt if you don't tell her that you don't want to have kids one day. Like, people get divorced over this.
Her what you have done to our family twice.
Yeah.
Why does he think it's always better to just keep these things secret and tell people later? And it keeps biting him in the ass and he keeps doing it.
I don't know. I wonder if he
is wrong with him.
I wonder if he has like ADHD, which that's a thing with ADHD, is putting everything off to the very, very last minute. You know, and I wonder if that's part of it. Like, I just can't face it, or if I just keep pushing it off, it'll go away.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Drew's like, yeah, you should go ahead and tell her. And Jimmy looks right at him and goes, good luck.
Why is Jimmy? I would have left. Like, right when he said, I'm leaving the business again, I would be like, I'm gone. I can't.
Jimmy hates his brother. Hates.
And I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. So in the talking head, James says, yeah, I do know if I tell her that I never, ever want to have kids, it could break us up. And I don't want to lose her, so I'm just not going to tell her. So I'm just going to put that off until the very, very last minute. He's 33. Like, go ahead and tell her. I mean, she's not. She's in her.
What do you think not telling her is going to do? That's also going to break you up. What is wrong with these people?
Because they've been together now 3-4 years.
At least, yeah. I can't. I'm just not going to tell her.
I think I just won't tell her. And then maybe when she gets to be in her 30s and really her biological clock starts ticking, and we've been married for 10 years and we live in Indonesia making no money, then I'm going to tell her. Like, excuse me, that is the end of them. So let's move on to our favorite van life couple, Statler and Dempsey. Now, I've given you Statler and Dempsey to cover because of the van life aspect, because I know that you want to have van life. I know alone. You want to have van life alone.
Yeah.
But I feel that if we're really covering them, it's only fair to let you have them because of how much you love van life.
Thank you. Also, it's great to challenge. I love to challenge myself. And last season, I struggled with keeping their names straight. And I am going to try to do better this season. Gross.
So just say Dempsey in a British accent. Dempsey.
Okay.
And that'll help you remember it.
But then I could hear Statler. Like, I can hear that in a British accent too.
I think Statler just looks so much like a Statler.
Yeah.
I think she just really looks like a Statler.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's easy for me.
So they, Dempsey is, people are just going to hate that. She's 29. She lives in Darlington, England, and she is selling her caravan, which is what we would call a trailer home. And she's buying a camper van. She's going even smaller to travel around, which is my actual dream. Get rid of all my stuff, have a tiny home on wheels. Statler is 33, lives in Irving, Texas, and she is taking a bubble bath and talking to an invisible butler. She prides herself on being a quirky weirdo, and she thinks she's funny. She's not sure if other people think she's funny.
All right. 2 things. Number 1, the first scene of Dempsey is getting rid of the caravan.
Yeah.
Every other scene with Dempsey, she's on Zoom in the
In the
caravan.
caravan.
So, once again, Matt Sharp, as I said earlier this
Yeah.
week, continuity matters.
Mhm.
Next thing about Statler, if you have to talk about how you're a quirky weirdo,
Right.
you're not a quirky weirdo.
Yeah. I'm so random. That
Yes,
that's my
yes.
impression of my friend would always do that impression of people we knew in college, who'd be like, "I hate potato chips. I'm so random."
Look at me, I'm such a rebel. I'm so
Yeah.
weird. I'm so quirky.
Yeah. So she has stuff everywhere, but she has to pack. She's supposed to be packing to move to England,
Yeah.
but she has mental health challenges
Uh-huh.
and she has ADHD, she has anxiety, and she was recently diagnosed as having autism spectrum disorder.
Mhm.
And she prefers to spend time alone, except with Dempsey.
Mhm.
This is all me without an official diagnosis.
Okay.
And she also loves to take baths and then pee in the bath. None of that is me.
Kimberly, when she said that at the end and
That's
the
disgusting.
producer goes, "Really?" Like, doesn't that negate the entire bath? Now, are you then going to get in the shower?
Right. She says she does it at the end of the bath as like a release. I love freedom. I don't, first of all, I hate baths. It
Me
is just,
me too.
it's human soup. It's
You know, we
disgusting.
are about to redo our entire bathroom and taking out the bathtub that we were forced, just like James was forced to move to Florida. We were forced to put this bathtub in our house when we built our house because he was like, "You'll never be able to resell your house without a bathtub."
Oh, interesting.
We have other bathtubs in this house that people could find.
Yeah.
And we have one in our bathroom, and maybe ever in the 12 years we've lived here,
Mm-mm.
maybe 2 baths have been taken.
Yeah.
And so we are about to get rid of the whole entire thing. Listen, bath people are bath people. That's my
Katie
sister's a
loves
bath
a bath.
person.
Yeah.
They get it, but I don't know anybody that would ever say, "I pee in the bathtub." That
That's
makes no
abs
sense. It makes no sense. Why would you do that?
and it's not like peeing in the ocean or something if you had like which is a vast expanse of water, so you can picture
Right.
it being diluted very quickly. This
Uh-huh.
is a small amount of water,
That you're
several
sitting
buckets
in.
of water that
Yeah.
you are sitting in, and it's gonna be very concentrated, the
And right
pee.
there, just down your legs. Like,
Just
is she trying to say she waits for all the water to drain out and then she pees and rinses the tub? Is she saying, "I pee in the tub and then I get out immediately and wash off in the shower?" Or is she just saying, "I sit in my own urine and then I get out and towel off"?
I wish she hadn't said that on TV, because I actually enjoy Statler sometimes, but I did not enjoy that.
I agree. I agree. And I don't know if that was just to show she's such a quirky weirdo, but
There was
gross.
a lawyer on Dateline who once said, "I kissed a dead dog on the side of the road as a dare when I was 17." And it was the most disgusting thing on the mouth, I think he said. And we have never forgotten it. He was trying to use it as an example of how teens do dumb things, but we felt like the second he said it, he regretted that he said it on TV, and that
Yeah.
he maybe went home and his wife asked how it went, and he said, "I said that's stupid. Why did I say that? Why?" And he wakes up at 3 in the morning. Why did I say the thing about the dead dog? That's
Right.
how I would feel if I said the thing about the pee. It would haunt me forever.
See, when you're saying this thing about the kissing the dead dog, I remember what you're talking about.
Well, we've talked about it on the podcast many
But
times.
I'm trying to remember what the episode was, what the murder was, what the thing was, but
Yeah,
I
I mean, I don't even
remember.
remember the murder. I just
Okay,
remember the lawyer.
it was a
Yeah,
lawyer. Okay, so
yeah.
it wasn't the killer from jail saying,
No, he
"Nobody
was
thought it was weird
represent
when I would kiss dead dogs on the side of the road." Yeah.
no, he was like, "Look at my client, is he everyone does dumb things when they're teenagers. I
Okay.
kissed a dead dog on the mouth on the side of the road when I was 17 on a dare."
Oh, that guy, you're right. He thinks about it once a day. Once
Oh,
a
for
day, he
sure.
thinks about that dumb thing he said on
Yeah.
television. You're right.
But he has to have, podcasts or TV on all the time because when it's quiet and he's left with his own thoughts,
Yeah.
it haunts him.
Yeah, you're right. And what we hope is that Statler is going to feel the same way about this. At the very least, never forget Sean Robinson, so it'll be brought up at the reunion.
Please, God, Sean
Please.
Robinson,
Yes.
bring it up at the
Yeah.
reunion.
Yeah.
Yes. So I need Tim to be there too as a.
Well, that's just gross. I don't know what you're thinking. Why would you even take a bath if you're just gonna pee all over yourself? That's disgusting.
I love Tim. So Tim is my ideal boyfriend, except for the guns. I
Except for
do
the
love
misogyny part.
just
Remember
the
about that?
misogyny and
Remember
the
that
guns.
gotta be pure part? Remember
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that wasn't great.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't. Oh, okay. So there's several things that would stop us.
Right.
Also, I'm not Brazilian. So
Yeah, that's the first thing.
yeah. So she is in love with Dempsey, and she thinks Dempsey is very funny, also laughs at her jokes,
Mhm.
and is kind and has both boobs and a butt.
Mhm.
And
God doesn't always give with both hands, so good for
Yeah.
Dempsey. Yeah.
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 So last season, we see some flashbacks where Dempsey bought Statler some dead bugs as a gift. And that
Mhm.
was just like, she gets me. So they're meant to be together. And then they took a bath together. And I pray to God Statler did not pee in that bath.
Great point. I forgot about that.
And then they did have conflicts though last season. Dempsey was scared because Statler said, I love you and I want to move to England to be with you, even though they had just met in person.
Mhm.
And Dempsey said, that's really soon. That scares me. And then they had a fight because Statler said, well, I don't want kids. I never want kids. I hate people who have kids. Nothing
Mhm.
with children.
Mhm.
And Dempsey did want children.
Mhm.
So at the tell-all, they seem to leave it like Statler said, well, maybe I could have kids.
Mhm. But Dempsey had always said before that, she had always said, "I don't know if I ever want kids." So sort
Ex-
of there at that Irish castle, she decided she did,
she
and then they had a
did.
big stupid fight. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, people change their minds about kids. So it's very,
Look at James.
yeah.
Look at James.
So they kind of resolved it and left the tell-all kind of happy. And then they decided they were going to travel Europe in this camper van. Statler works remotely so she can leave her job in America and do that. But now she's very overwhelmed, anxious about the plan. She has anxiety about everything, and she now has to get rid of all of her stuff and live in a very small space with no flushing toilet, and she's very scared. And she's basically checked out. When she gets overwhelmed, she just checks out. I do the same thing. So
Mhm.
she has left Dempsey to deal with all the logistics. And she says she's done this in a lot of relationships. And most of the time, the people get fed up with it and they leave her. It's almost like she's self-sabotaging.
But
Um,
also Dempsey lives there, and they're
the
starting
van's
there. I mean, it's
there.
not like
So
Statler can do a lot.
no, the logistics have to
No.
be in England. So also, I think Statler is funding a lot of this with her job.
I think she's like,
And
"I'm paying for it. You figure it out." Yeah.
exactly, but they
Yeah.
never bring that up. Except I think next week that's going to happen. The finances.
And
And
every
the
time you say camper van, I think of Camper Van Beethoven, which is a band.
oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Every time you say camper van, I'm like, Camper Van
I'm just going to
Beethoven.
say van.
Yeah.
So next week I think they start talking about the finances, which Statler has been alluding to on social media a lot.
Not even alluding, just flat out saying.
Just saying basically, I hate this bitch and she took my money and now she has the camper van and I paid for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like we're watching, it's like Memento. We're watching the relationship dissolve in reverse. So then we
Yes.
see Dempsey in England foraging for mushrooms. If she wasn't a lesbian, she and James could do
Perfect.
fine together.
Yeah. Perfect.
Wet environments in the forest, they both
Ew.
enjoy.
Ew.
So also her hero shot is eating a flower. So that's
Odd.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So she shows she loves to Mother Earth provides. Then
Mhm.
she goes to her friend Lindsay, and Lindsay is spelled Linzi.
Okay, I
No,
didn't
thank you.
catch that. Okay.
No, thank you.
Mhm.
And Lindsay lives in a house but has a camper van on the side, which I enjoy. That's more my new dream because I don't think I want to be a camper van. I need a home base that has a shower.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You need a home base that yes, because you might get tired of van life after a week and you wanna be able to come home and wash your
and
clothes and
recoup
whatnot. Yeah.
exactly. So Dempsey, we find out, well, we didn't find out, I think we talked about this last week, that she is a carny. I thought that was in the back of my mind, and I thought I was mistaken and had made that up. No, she's a carny folk. She's a carnival traveling circus folk, and her family goes back generations.
But
And it's how she
it's called like did you write down what it's called? It's got an official
traveling
name.
circus,
No.
traveling.
It's called like the Society of Travelers of something. Like
Right.
she
Okay.
gave it a real official name, but she's a
Like they
carny.
have a union or something.
Yes, like they have a union, right?
So she grew up that way. So traveling and being a nomad and living in small spaces and new adventures every day is very new. Like it's very safe for her. But
Yes,
it's the opposite of the way Dempsey feels. Dempsey
Statler.
does not long for adventure. She
Statler.
likes Statler doesn't long for adventure and likes things to be the same and predictable. She likes to have a plan and
Yeah.
so they're very opposites about this. It's
What could go wrong?
what could go wrong? The odd couple. One loves adventure, one fears adventure. Great.
What
So
could happen?
yeah, and they're traveling to Dover, Paris, Switzerland, all over. It sounds magical. I would love to do it. But also I am very much Statler that I like things to be predictable and don't like change. So it's more like I aspire to this, but I don't know if I could really do it.
But my whole thing is like, if you're in this van and you're gonna, okay, we're gonna go to the cliffs of Dover and spend 2 days, and we've found like a camper park that we can go
Yeah.
to and empty out our latrine and all the things.
Mhm.
Then we're gonna go to Paris and stay 3 days in a hotel. Then we're gonna get back
Yes.
in the camper van and do this. You know what I mean? As long as
Yeah.
you're not as long as you have a path forward and you know that every second stop you're going to have a hotel or you're going to be able to find a laundromat or something.
Well,
Or
sometimes you're doing free camping and you don't even have the luxuries that are at a camper park. So you don't even have like a public restroom that you can
like a
use
shower or something
or a
that you could,
shower. I mean,
yeah.
some people have showers in their vans, but
I
it's
don't need
not
this
like
one.
you don't have an unlimited source of water. So you really have to conserve your water.
Yeah.
So a lot of van lifers I know do take breaks where they rent an Airbnb for a month and just decompress and because the
Yeah.
constant change, it's travel burnout, it really happens. So you have
Yeah.
to do something like that. But I don't even
Yeah.
know if that's going to be enough for Statler. I think she really might like a home base. And she didn't even like sharing the trailer with
Right.
Dempsey because it was such a small space and the toilet was not great. And
It was only for pee-pee.
and this is it was only for pee and this
Mhm.
is going to be a fifth of that space. So
It's not gonna work, and unless they have a definite plan to stop but just to travel, 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 and never have a home base, and I
mm-mm.
understand that Dempsey grew up like that, so for her, it's not a big deal, but for Statler, who has got some mental health issues that really, really it's important for her to have this
Mhm.
consistency, it literally is never going to work.
No,
Never.
never,
Never.
never.
Mm-mm.
So Dempsey is worried that Statler will never be able to let go of the anxiety and be present in the moment. I have had terrible anxiety since I was a kid. I'm well treated with medication and therapy and psychiatrists and everything. It never goes away. You
It's not
can't just
really curable.
it's not curable.
Yeah.
It's about your brain chemistry and it can be managed, but it's not curable. So good luck with that. And the way Dempsey says, sorry, the way Statler says, like, I'm so quirky, I'm, so different, and I'm neurospicy. That's the exact same way that Dempsey says, I'm free spirited, I'm carefree. She says it about everything in a really annoying way that makes me think you're not really that way, or you just are acting like you're that way.
Yeah.
And also that's annoying because if sometimes there are times where you have to be organized and serious about things, but
Yeah.
she's just like, I don't want to deal. I'm carefree. Let's just go on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that this is never gonna work, and I think what we've seen on social media now, because Statler loves a post,
Mhm.
that really it has gone way, way south, and Statler's accusing Dempsey of, like, stealing the man that she paid for, and I don't know if Statler's stuck somewhere in Ireland. I don't know if she's back in Texas, but, I mean, I do know that, like, Dempsey came to Texas and visited her, and, so I think that the relationship was going okay until And I don't even know if they decided to do this van life for the show. Like, hey,
Right.
we could do this for the show. And then when we're done, we're going to agree to sell the van and stay in one spot. And then Dempsey didn't want to do that and stole the van. Like, I don't know.
She also really has been accusing Dempsey of not being the same person that she is on camera, and saying that she really just was so concerned about getting a good edit that even during the first season, she just wanted to be nice and sweet on camera, and then totally unreasonable and difficult off camera.
So definitely you should stay with her and then agree to go into a
Do
confined
a
space with
second
her.
season. Yeah, great
Yeah.
idea.
Wow. Well, we didn't get Josh and Lily this week, and we didn't get Corona and Inky, just like the two best named people ever, Corona
Yeah.
and Inky.
Mhm.
But here's what we got for next time on. Josh has landed in China. He can't wait to see Lily. And he asked the cab driver and is laughing hysterically at the answer. He asked the cab driver, is it common in China for men not to work? And the cab driver basically tells him he's a loser.
Yeah.
And he laughs and laughs. Statler says she and Dempsey had a miscommunication about the van and the cost of the van. And we see Dempsey saying, we have talked about the van and the cost of the van time and time again, which means they did talk about it. And Statler just like put it off till next week because she couldn't quite. Yeah. Corona heads to Iceland. And now we meet Inky, who you were dying to meet. Do you think Inky looks a lot like Ben Mandelker of Watch What Crappens? He really did. And
I'm gonna need to see more. Yeah.
I'm gonna send that clip to Ben and say, we've met your twin. And he lives in Iceland and his name is Inky.
Wow.
Inky says, oh, I'm excited because Corona is arriving tomorrow. And he sits and talks with his friends who go, oh, yeah, you're planning to propose. And he goes, no. And I don't have a ring and no, ew. So that's not good.
He's giving me Justin Igor vibes.
Ooh. But Justin Igor really didn't like what's her name. But Inky probably really likes Corona. Just doesn't want to get married.
But not enough to marry, yeah, even though she's moving to Iceland.
Iceland, yeah. Sarper asks Shekinah, oh, you're still mad about those bottles? And you just need to make peace with it. And she was like, no, I don't need to make peace with it. And look at this. I have a 143-page binder from my middle school boyfriend. Ooh, jealous.
Look at this trapper keeper.
And he's like, and he throws it on the ground. Like, she doesn't even know where this guy lives anymore. This is just such a not flex. If she could have found like something from a boyfriend like 2 years ago, or even like something from the father of her child that's 75 years old and she doesn't, I mean, he's barely alive.
Right.
Like,
but he's rich.
But he's rich. If she could find something from that guy, like something.
No, it says like, here's a note someone passed me in kindergarten. Will you be my girlfriend? Check yes or no. Aren't you so jealous?
Yes. I checked yes. Take a load of that.
See, I rubbed it in your face.
It's just not the same, girl. But I am so really, really super, super glad you reminded me how awful she was at the reunion to everyone, man, woman, Sean, everybody.
Yep.
God,
she was so defensive because people were coming at her relationship, which is terrible and toxic. Yeah. And she was putting down other people like they're losers. Yeah.
But she was like on the offensive. Like she was going after people before anybody ever said anything to her.
Yeah, that's true. And with her very, in my opinion, not great, super old school values about men and women and what their roles are, and like obeying your man.
Yeah, a lot of obeying.
Looking down on the other women for not being like that.
Yes. And that's when you had Kalani and Tanya, like, can anybody believe with this bitch? I mean, they were looking around like, whoa. And Andre's like, oh, wow, this is nuts. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. And then remember,
she's like, you're so scary, Andre.
No. And then remember Sarper was trying to tell Tyree, like, here's what you do. You go up behind a woman when she's not expecting it. It gets her on the neck. Works every time. We're all like, don't do that.
Assault her, basically.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Don't take advice from Sarper.
You're going to get arrested.
Yeah.
Oh, God. God, that seems like so long ago. Kimberly, we've already touched on it, but you do have a fabulous guest on A Date with Dateline this week.
Yeah.
And I'm covering an episode of Betrayed on the ID channel. And I don't know if you announced the episode before or people just listen and they get to find out when they find out.
No, I can tell them it is.
So everybody go and watch this episode before. Okay.
Season 3, episode 10, Keep Your Friends Close, which is, we think, the wrong title. We think that title maybe goes to a different episode.
But by the way, when I pulled up my Netflix or whatever it is on, what did I find it on? Peacock? What did I find it on?
Max.
Discovery Plus. I think I found it on Discovery Plus. I just literally typed in Betrayed and then went to season 3 episode. Yeah. So it was up on my screen when I went to look at something else, because it was still there. And the titles on either side of it also make no sense.
Oh.
The title on one was like meth mouth. It was something about meth. And the other one was about a beach. So I was like, well, those don't match either.
So yeah.
What's
maybe
happening?
It's season 2, episode 10. I don't know how they're doing there. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, Keep Your Friends Close is the name of that episode. So just go to Discovery or Max.
There's not a friend in the episode.
Nobody's a friend to anyone.
No one's a friend.
So you go to Discovery Plus or Max and you search for Betrayed. You find it. Then you go to season 3, episode 10. Keep Your Friends Close. And that is what I am covering with Kimberly over on A Date with Dateline. That will come out Wednesday on the public feed, Tuesday if you're on their Patreon. And if you're not, why not? You should be there.
You should get our Patreon and our Supercast. We have live streams. We have a great time.
Good time is had by all. Yes.
Yeah.
And again, you guys, this is over on YouTube. The link will be in the show notes for the public feed. And if you're not on the public feed, it's on YouTube anyway. You'll find it. You'll see it. And please follow me on Instagram at Pink Shade Pod. I've been doing some really great reels without any help. Pretty proud of myself. And later this week, this is a good programming note, you guys. So normally on Thursday, I put up my Bravo episode, but this week it's going to be out on Friday morning because I wanted to be able to cover the first episode of Real Housewives of OC. Oh, so that comes out Thursday night, The Real Housewives of OC. I'll do my episode with John Hill and it will be out Friday morning. So you're not missing it on Thursday. It'll be out Friday morning because the next week it'll go back to regular Thursday. But I just wanted to be able to cover the first episode of OC and not have to wait a whole week.
The OG ladies.
Yeah. Yeah. Your neighbors, as it were.
My peeps.
Yeah.
I saw one of them at the grocery store one time, but now I can't remember which one. She was blonde. Well,
great story because they're all blonde.
I know.
Thanks.
I feel like it was Vicky or the
Tamra.
Tamra. Okay. It was like way back when the show first started.
Okay. Well, that tells me nothing.
No, it was a dumb story. I don't even know why I said it.
Well, listen, I wishing you good luck to see Alexis, whatever her name is, and John Jansen, Shannon Medore's ex-boyfriend. I hope that you see them somewhere.
I won't recognize them. Stopped watching the show a long time ago.
Kate Casey did one time send me a screenshot of John Jansen, like at a Chipotle or something, sitting outside eating. She was like, "Look who I just saw." I was like, "Oh, that's sad." Yeah, it's like Chipotle. Kate's like, "It's fine if I'm here because I'm like dropping kids off at a soccer practice. Why is he here?"
Yeah.
Oh, you can look for Kate Casey. She's out there in the OC as well.
Oh yeah.
Everybody follow Kimberly and Katie on Instagram at Dateline. Listen to their podcast, A Date with Dateline, and listen here Friday morning for my Bravo recap. And please follow me on Instagram as well. Okay, bye.